Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There is a democratic deficit in Scotland in that only ministers can report themselves to the authorities for breaking ministerial code. No one else can do so. That seems a bit of an oversight, and I think it's something that needs to be rectified. Because when you have ministers such as Yousaf and Robison, ministers who repeatedly and continually lie, not mislead, not misspeak, not quote the wrong statistics, but outright barefaced lie to Parliament, no one can refer them to the authorities except themselves. This is surely wrong. But they are coming under increasing pressure to do so, to report themselves for all the lies they keep telling. It isn't going to happen, of course, because, hey, this is the SNP. Lying is what they do. But the likes of Douglas Ross are saying that it cannot go on any longer. And perhaps the rules need changing, who knows. But it isn't going to be anything that is shocking to anyone. But let's have a look and see what's going on. And see, well, I was going to say if they'll report themselves. Of course they won't, stupid boy. But see why they're denying the fact that they continually lie, even though it's pointed out that they do. Here goes. So, Useless and 86 under growing pressure to refer themselves over the WhatsApp scandal. The First Minister and his deputy should lead by example and refer themselves to investigators, say the Scottish Conservatives, have accused them of deliberately misleading Parliament, or as we like to call it, barefaced lying. And look at her, thick as custard, absolutely, thick as champ, and him smiling because he doesn't know the full trouble he's in. The First Minister, Humza Yousaf, and his deputy, Shona Robinson, should refer themselves to the Independent Advisor for Ministerial Codes over suggestions that they lied to Parliament. I'm not using misled. I'm saying the word it is. Lied. This is according to the Scottish Tories, who have led scrutiny of the SNP government's handling of the WhatsApp messages that have been requested by the Scottish Government. The opposition are seeking clarity after the timeline published by ministers showed requests for messages had been made by the inquiry in February as opposed to September as they claimed and lied. Why? We know everything. Nothing that comes out of those gaping maws at the front of their head is ever approaching the truth. It never is. It cannot be. They do not know the truth at all. This followed threats of legal action after ministers were called out for failing to hand over messages, and a number of prominent figures who made decisions during the pandemic being asked to clarify if they had deleted messages. Most famously, of course, Nicola Sturgeon saying, "I do not comment on this because there is a secrecy arrangement in place." And then the COVID inquiry said, "No, there isn't. Stop lying. Stop lying, you lying little cow. Tell the truth. You can speak about that." Oh, no. She doesn't want to, of course. Because she knows if she says she hasn't deleted anything, then she's obliged to hand everything over. And she knows if she says she has deleted everything, then she's in trouble because she shouldn't have done, and she knows it. And that would be contempt, and she's in trouble. Oh, what wicked webs we weave. Anyway, last week the Holyrood authorities handed over 14,000 messages to the inquiry, which sounds a lot until you realise that Nick Hancock himself had over 100,000 messages. So 14,000 divided across the whole of government is literally a drop in the ocean. This included unredacted correspondence from the First Minister. He says, I wait to see that. What's her name? Kate Forbes also handed over everything she said was unredacted. However, the real telling point will be the Andrew Slorence laptop, which should have an awful lot of information on it, which has not been redacted because, alas, poor Andrew had died. And if they can get into that and pull it all out, well, that'll be an absolute treasure trove of truth, won't it? And that will be the noose, perhaps, that the SNP will be putting their collective neck into, with any luck. Anyway, the scandal will be debated in an upcoming deleted messages session. Oh, good. That we need to watch and see the result of. Anyway, the timeline was laid out after the inquiry asked us to set out more in detail of the full timetable of requests for information of the Scottish Government, Miss Robison said, and lied. Both Mr Yousaf and Miss Robison have been accused by opposition leaders of misleading Parliament, and if they're found to have intentionally done so, they'll be expected to offer their resignation according to ministerial code. But that's why they aren't going to do it. They will never put themselves forward. And unfortunately, because of the rules, no one else can. This is an oversight that needs challenging, changing, and doing so quickly so that other people can suggest that the information officer, whatever they call them, can inspect what's being said in the chamber. And if it is a lie and they don't correct it, then they must resign. But of course, until that's in place, these people are not going to do anything like that, are they? On Wednesday, the Scottish Tories will use their debating time to accuse the ministers of deliberately lying to the Parliament, which they do repeatedly on many, many occasions and without any kind of shame over it. They lie all the time. And not just about this, just about everything. Nothing they say is ever true. You can believe nothing. Useless and 88, the two most senior members of the SNP government, have deliberately misled and lied to Parliament, said Tory leader Douglas Ross. That is why my party will use debating time in Holyrood to urge the First Minister and Deputy First Minister to refer themselves to the independent advisor on the ministerial code. And of course, if they don't, then everybody knows it's because they lied and they know they lied. Otherwise, they say, no, we weren't lying, and yes, we'll happily go to the ministerial code. Not going to happen. Don't hold your breath. Let's be honest. They would rather be thought of as liars than have it proved. Anyway, Mr Ross added, I would urge Humza Yousaf and Shona Robinson to refer themselves to the independent advisor of the ministerial code so we can understand why they lied to Parliament. MSPs from all parties need to get behind our motion to stand up for the integrity of the Scottish Parliament. There is no integrity. Not while you have to report yourself. Not while other people cannot report you. Is there any... There never will be integrity because people just don't have it anymore. Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Jackie Bailey said the SNP must lead by example and come clean on the exact details of the scandal. Humza Yousaf has contradicted himself so many times that it's now hard to keep track. He's spun and lied and turned and twisted so much. He's tied himself in knots. Even he doesn't know which is the particular lie he's supposed to be telling and pretending is true. That's how bad it is. Anyway, she said the grieving families at the heart of this inquiry deserve much better than this, and they do, of course. But they're not going to get it. This is the SNP. The First Minister must ensure that all the material is handed over. Not going to happen. Whether it's WhatsApp messages from former and current ministers, SNP secret email accounts and all legal advice, so that the inquiry can be allowed to do its job properly. The families deserve nothing less. And the families will get a lot less because there's no way the SNP can do it. They know if they release it all, or if it all is found, then they'll be going to jail. A lot of them for a long time. Crimes against humanity, many think. I certainly do. The motion is unlikely to pass without support from the Scottish Greens, who are in power sharing agreement with the Scottish Government, which has granted their co-leader's ministerial office. Yeah, real kiss ass. Basically, you've handed the entire government over to the Greens because you're shit scared of losing them. And so it's a little green tail wagging the big yellow dog. The independent advisor, who since 2013 has been James Hamilton, is tasked with assessing if the ministerial code has been breached. Mr Hamilton previously cleared former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon of a breach over when she knew about allegations made against her predecessor Alex Salmond, and that didn't half stink like week-old fish. That's one when the Sturgeon and the Salmond were absolutely dead set against each other, and you just knew there was a lot of dodgy shit going on there. That was shady, but it apparently turned out that the man appointed by Sturgeon found her completely clear. Isn't that weird? Anyway, I shall round off and come up, but it's not going to happen, is it? It's just not, because they're not going to report themselves. They're never going to report themselves because they know all they do is lie continually. Coming up. Now, I would suggest that should Labour, and it's highly likely they will, but should Labour form the next Scottish government, and it may be in a coalition with others. However, whoever forms the next government, like I say, it's probably going to be Labour, and we're talking about Holyrood here, not Westminster, the Holyrood particularly. Whoever forms that government day one, must change the rules. And they must say that the Ministerial Code Commission, whatever they call it, can be called not just by the minister responsible. So, you're not marking your own homework, but any member can ask for any claim to be investigated. And I think that would help ensure that all future claims, I won't say that it won't lead to anyone misleading the House, but it would certainly reduce it, and it would stop stop the SNP talking, really, because every time they open their mouth, a lie comes out, and you have like a 3 point, what's the word? Three strikes and you're out. Bring that in as well. So if the Information Commissioner finds that against you 3 times, then at that point you are disbarred from being an MSP, and you have to resign your position, not just if you're a minister or anything, but from Parliament, and there has to be an election, and you can never stand again. That, of course, would be marvellous, and you'd see the SNP crash and burn, because they can't help themselves, can they? Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that's been enlightening. It certainly gives you food for thought. Who knows? If Dame Jackie is watching, there's an idea for you, Dame Jackie. You may have that one for free. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and keep watching, because there's more to come. Still a busy day. Bye.